Welcome everyone to the Phoenix DryLINK training webinar. This will be our first training webinar and this will be an ongoing series. I wanted to start by saying that I'm going to have a presentation over in this area that I'm going to be going through, but I also have my phone. This is a live mirror of my phone. So I'm going to attempt to do the presentation and show you what I'm doing in DryLINK at the same time. So hopefully this all goes smoothly. So we'll get started. A little bit about me. I'm Aaron Heinum, worked for Thermistor for 10 years, mostly with the Phoenix brand. I'm currently the business unit leader, and my love for technology and innovation has kind of led me to this path of DryLINK. So today we'll start at the beginning for those that are interested in using DryLINK, and that would be with the initial setup. So you need to download the app in order to use it, obviously. So we have the app in for Android, we have it in the Google Play Store, and for iOS, we have it in the Apple App Store. And once you download your app, and I like to cover this because we've had some questions surrounding this, we need to verify your email address. And so what will happen is when you'll see this in the app, it'll say, check your email. So sometimes it can go to your junk or your clutter. And what we've had is that people hit resend the email, and that's fine, except for once you click to resend the email, the first email with the link in it no longer works, and you have to get the second or the latest email that you clicked on. So I just wanted to point that out for people as you're going to set up DryLINK. If you have problems, you can of course call us. Okay, so once you get your email, you can see here's my email that I received, and then I had to click this link to verify. And once I click this link, a website opens up and it tells me that I'm verified, and I can proceed to DryLINK and log in. And once I go back to DryLINK, you'll see that it'll say account verified, and I have a couple of options. I can just collect done, or I can invite users. Now, I do want to point out another thing that we've had. This problem that we've had is that people have maybe 3 people in their company, and they all download DryLINK and they all set up their own account independently. Well, that means you've now set up 3 companies. So and it's not a problem. You can merge the companies, but you just need to understand it's based on a kind of company account. So what you can do here is you can invite new users. So only one person can be the owner of the company, and that person has the ability to merge their company with another company if they sell the company, for example. Now you can set up a few other roles. There's an administrator role, which these folks have the ability to add and remove other employees. And then you have the technician who can do everything else other than what the owner and the administrator can do separately. Okay, so that's kind of how you get set up. So now I want to show you some basic navigation. I'm going to switch over here to this screen that has my phone live to go through the navigation. And I'll work around. I'm going to start in the settings here. So I'll click into the settings. I just want to show you what's in here. So there's some basic information. You've got your name, and this is all information you entered when you set up the account. You can change your password here if you want to. Then we have this units field where you can switch independently these different measurements from imperial to metric as you see fit. Then we have a tab here, it's called Job Management Alerts. Now you can see over here we have an alerts section, and this will be there as well. But job management is meant for like people back at the office. And you'll see in this alerts tab, Job Management Alerts tab, there's a recipients field. I'm the only one in the company, and I'm not receiving these alerts right now, but I could click this and now I'll be receiving these alerts. So I will just discard that for right now. And if you go over here, you'll see there's an alert for job duration. So you can say, hey, if a job is going on too long, somebody let me know because something has gone wrong. We have a job completion notification and job started notification. So again, intended for people back in the office. Okay, and as I go down here, there's this notifications field. So this is for my personal notifications. So I can receive both text and email, either or none. I mean, if you select none, obviously you're not going to get anything. Okay, and then on the My Team tab, this is where you can go, and there's a few things you can do. I just taken a picture of the DrySense box to put up here, but you see these, there's 3 dots up here in the corner, and if you click on these, this is the thing of doing live. There we go. So I can click on Update My Team Info. I can invite users. You can see you can do that down here, and I can change the logo. So I'll start by doing Update Team Info, and you'll see I haven't put in my address and city, state, zip, and all those types of things, but I can do that. And then if I go back here, and I'm not going to click Invite Users. We already kind of talked about that, and you can see there's a button down here to do it. But if I click on Change Logo, it's going to open a web browser, and it's going to allow you to update a new logo. So that's how that works. That's how you do that. So those are all the things in the My Team section of the account settings. And then the app version. It's always good to make sure you keep your app current to make sure you've got all the latest and greatest. Okay, so that's the account settings. And this thing I'm clicking here, they call this the hamburger button. And if you click there anywhere in the program, you will always get all the possible main menus. I'm just going to go back to the home because I just want to show you from here. So the next thing I'm going to move on to is alerts. So if I go into the alert section, you'll see now we have a gear up here. This is going to be where you can select which types of alerts. So I already showed you job management alerts, so I'm not going to show that again. We'll go to the equipment alerts and see what we can receive alerts on there. Again, you can select who receives these alerts. So maybe you want the equipment alerts to be received by somebody that's in maintenance or service. So there's a notification for not connected. This means, so you can see it's set for 14 days. This means no DryLINK app has seen this equipment, maybe it's lost. And if you go down here, you can see there's a reservoir full. You can receive this notification from our smart dehumidifiers. This will let you know that there's something, either like the hose is pinched or there's something wrong with the pump. And then the system protection, again, our smart dehumidifiers will let you know if it's either such high temperatures or it's low on refrigerant and it's shutting down to protect itself from further damage. And then there's a low battery notification for DryTag, DryTag RH, and DrySense. And then a notification to tell you that it's time to change your filter. Those are all equipment alerts. So job management and equipment alerts you can receive, and you don't need the dry phone. But this last type of alert that I'm going to show you, job status alerts, these would be job site specific alerts, and you do need a dry phone for these types of alerts. Now you can see here I've got 3 jobs. This one actually has been set up with job site alerts. So I'm going to go in there. You can see you can enable or disable any particular job. You can see this has the units that are being monitored. So I could click in here and see what all we're checking on. And then down here is the recipients, again, who's receiving these alerts. So we have notifications for a lot of different things. We have DrySense, how long has that been offline? If equipment is turned off, you can be notified. For example, if a homeowner turns off the equipment, if you have a dry phone left behind, you can receive that alert in not real time, but pretty darn close, enough for you to take proactive action. Same thing with the DryTag, again, giving you a duration for DryTag being offline so you don't get nuisance notifications in case it just happens to not receive one signal. Dehu offline, and then we have other notifications like for the chamber. We can have a high temperature notification, low temperature, and you can set the thresholds for temperature, RH, all kinds of things. And then at the bottom, we have a chamber GPP slow to decrease. And I can't quite see this because of this. Let me see if I can move this. So this says after 12 hours, and you can change this to whatever you like. After 12 hours, if our chamber has not gone down 10 GPP, please send me a notification. So these are all the possible alerts. So now I'll go back to the home screen. We'll check in on the equipment tab. So you have a few different things. You have the nearby tab, which right now, so I'm just in my house, so it's checking and finding whatever equipment I have in my house, and it's reporting in. And you can see these guys over here. Anything over here with the locate, this target looking thing, has an LED light, and you can click on this and locate which particular unit you have there. Now, if I click over on the company units, this is a static picture of just all the equipment. Oops, I keep doing that. Of all the equipment in my company, and I can just scroll through that and see what all I have. Now, this thing here, this upside down triangle looking device, if I click on that, I can filter by all kinds of things. If I want to just see my dehumidifiers, my air movers, whatever I want to see, I can filter on. I can also search. I can start typing in, you know, if I type the number 2, 6, you know, it'll find, you know, whatever unit you're looking for that way. So there's plenty of ways to search. So that's some basic navigation for the equipment tab. And the last one I'll show you is jobs. Now this whole DryLINK app is based around the job. Oh, actually, one more thing. Before I go into jobs, there's this thing called View DU Snapshot. It really should be called Equipment Snapshot. If you click on it, it'll just grab an instant reading of everything it can find within Bluetooth range. And there's actually a share button. If you want to, you can just share whatever readings you grabbed right at that moment by clicking the share button. Okay, now if I go back to the jobs tab, you'll see that we have maps that are rendered for the jobs. So we only show the current jobs. And you can see there's a filter. It says clear filter. So if we click on the filter, we're going to see it says only active jobs. But actually, that's how we want it because we don't want to waste all your data by rendering maps for 100 jobs that you're no longer using. So I'm just going to go into this job, and you'll see we have 3 tabs. We have the job overview screen. We have the equipment tab, the equipment that is on this job, and then we have a drying data. Drying data is where you take your daily readings. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you that, well, first of all, I'll scroll down and show we have, you know, you can put in client contact information. We can add more chambers. You can see I've got 1 chamber with 9 units, category 2, class 2, and the insurance information. If I click on the equipment tab, it's going to show you not only the equipment that's on the job, but equipment that was on the job that's been removed. So you have all of these different pieces of equipment, and when they're removed, they still show up. Now, if I go over to drying data, this is where I would take readings. And there is also this graph here. Now, if you click on this graph, you can see for any of your smart dehumidifiers, now this has not been running, so this is just really going to show you what's going on in my basement. So here's the temperature in my basement. You know, I can see it's gone up just recently, but it's been in the 60s, and you can see obviously it's quite dry. I could put the, you know, I can put the grains on here if we wanted to see where those are at. And obviously there's no grain depression because the unit wasn't running, but you can look at your dehumidifiers in that way if you'd like to. You can see there's a drop down here to see whatever dehumidifiers are on that job. And if you have dry phone, you could do these kinds of things remotely. Okay, then we have this send records button, and the send records button, and I'll show you later on in the presentation, but this is how you get the link to your drying report. So your drying, so all this data is going to our cloud. Your visits are going to be what's going to show up on your drying report, and the send records will allow you to share this link to the drying report so that you can see all of that data. So that's really some basic navigation. I'm going to get into a video where I show you actually how to set up a job, add equipment to the job, and take readings. But this was just to show you how to move around the app.
Aaron, can I interrupt you for 1 second? Your mic
Sure.
is cutting in and out quite a bit. Would it be possible to not use your mic?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, I can try and, let's see here. Let's go here.
And then when you're done with it, a question came in.
All right. I'm a little concerned about trying to switch my mic in the middle of the presentation, unfortunately. What question do you have for me?
We have a question that came in that is asking, is the dry phone available?
Okay, so the dry phone, so we decided to move to a new provider. So we're in the middle of a changeover there, and it should be available in the coming weeks. So apologize for that, but we just had a changeover there. So I think I'm actually going to proceed because I'm not exactly sure how to change my mic in Teams while we're in the middle of this. So apologize if it's cutting out, and I'll hope for the best here moving forward. Okay. So now I want to make sure everybody understands what the full ecosystem is. So we started with the DryMax XL and the DryLINK app, and we had the data flowing to the app and to the drying report, and we saw that people did like this. So we continued on. We added a thing called the Dry Tag. So the Dry Tag is a Bluetooth beacon, and there's many of those in the market, but this one has an accelerometer on it, which senses the vibrations from equipment and can tell you if it is on or off. So it's an important feature of our particular Bluetooth beacon. Then we added it into the AirMax, and we call this the AirMax BLE. And what's nice about this is when you buy it, and by the way, it only adds $23 at MSRP, and obviously that's just MSRP. What's nice is we scan both of these at the factory so that it will automatically load this information into your DryLINK app. Now you can add it to any equipment you want to. You do have to set the non-smart equipment up in the app, and I'll show you how to do that. And then this will stream into the app as well. The next thing we did was we added the Dry Phone. The Dry Phone adds optional remote monitoring and alerts. And I showed you the alerts. And by alerts, I mean job site alerts. And pointing out that this is optional is very important. You don't have to use Dry Phone. So think of it like this. This box in the middle represents your phone when you're on the job site, when you open the app. The Dry Phone also has this app on it, and when you leave, you take your phone away, you put this in the middle, and it keeps streaming data from all of these devices. The next thing we came out with was adding Bluetooth to our most popular dehumidifier, the DryMax. We also have a retrofit kit available. MSRP is $199. There's 4 screws and 5 connectors on the board, and once you do that, your DryMax will now be a DryMax BLE and reporting in with data. And then after that, we launched the DryTag RH. This is a very versatile item. It can be used as a standalone thermal hygrometer, just like this, and it will automate, it can automate either the affected area, the unaffected area, or HVAC readings. Now, if you had multiples, you could automate all of those. But it's even more versatile. You can put it on the outlet of any non-smart dehumidifier and stream data into the DryLINK app. It also has the accelerometer and all the stuff of the Dry Tag, so you get that benefit as well. Then the last thing that we're launching on February 5th is called DrySense. And this is a moisture content sensor. There's pins on the back here that you can push into wet drywall, or you can screw off the pins and screw on this longer attachment, and you run stainless steel screws in here, and now you can stream data about the moisture content into the DrySense app. So this is what the complete ecosystem looks like. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew what the total ecosystem was. I think connected data is definitely the future of our industry, and this is a complete ecosystem. And by the way, we're open to working with other vendors for their hardware and other software providers as well. Okay, now I want to show you adding smart dehumidifiers and smart air movers. So the way it works is a blue box popped up. You might have seen that happening a few times over here. And then you view the units and you claim them. So this only happens when you have a new unit. So what I'm going to try and show you here, and hopefully this goes smoothly, I'm going to go into the equipment, and you see there's this training webinar dehumidifier. So I'm actually going to go in there, And what I'm going to do is go to the bottom, and I'm going to delete this equipment from my company. So then what is going to happen is I'm going to hit this refresh up, and well, I don't even need to. You can hit refresh to try and get the blue bar back, but this already popped up. And if I hit view units, I haven't turned on this yet, so this is later in the program. I'm going to show you the DrySense. But we'll claim back our training web dehumidifier. And there it is, back in our company. So that's how you claim equipment. And with our smart equipment, when you go in there, it knows everything about it. So not only is it giving me the conditions, again, it's not turned on, but if I scroll down, you'll see it has the serial number. It knows that it's a large unit. It knows that it's made by Phoenix, so it has all this information. So that is how you claim a smart dehumidifier and smart air movers. The Air Max BLE works exactly the same way. Okay, and for adding non-smart equipment, let me go back here to the home screen. And then over here, for adding non-smart equipment, and I'm going to show you this in a video in a little bit, but you would click, there's a plus button here, you would click add equipment, and it looks like this, and you fill in this information, and then you can hit, if you hit save and add another, the only things you would have to, it'll think you're doing the exact same type of unit. All you have to do is put the serial number and the name of the unit, and you can keep hitting save and add another. If you hit save and finish, obviously you're going to be done adding equipment. And then this is DryTag RH. So I talked about how versatile this can be. This is showing what it looks like in the app as a standalone thermal hygrometer. This shows it on a different piece of equipment. You'd put it behind the outlet grill. This shows it, it's hard to see down here, but this is on an R250. We've installed it. It's literally zip ties. You take off the outlet grill, you zip tie it on. You'd want the tip to be where you would normally put your meter to take those readings, and it will stream. If you have DryPhone there, it will stream data every 15 minutes to our cloud. If you don't have DryPhone there is not memory on board. So if you want historical data, you have to leave a DryPhone. Now, if you just want to take an instant reading, you don't need a DryPhone. You can just come in and take the reading. Okay. I do kind of want to show you how to add this. So I'm going to go into my equipment tab, and right on cue, I've got new DryTag discovered. So I'm going to hit view units. So it's showing me this is the unit. You can see it's giving me the signal strength, and I can confirm the UUID is the one I'm looking at, and I'm going to hit add. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to say, hey, you've got some non-smart dehumidifiers in your inventory. Do you want to marry up the DryTag RH with one of these? Or do you want to go down here and add new equipment? And this is how you would set up a standalone thermal hygrometer. So I'm going to show you. So I'm not going to attach it to a dehumidifier. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to hit add new equipment. Now, I'll just call this, I'll call it DTRH1, or whoops, I'm not typing very well. DTRH1. And we'll say it's a meter, and then this will switch us to hygrometer. You can fill in all the information, the manufacturer, Phoenix, model, DTRH, and you can put in a serial number if you want. I'm not going to take time to do that. And again, you have, so there's a save and finish. So I called it DTRH1. So now we should be able to find that in our inventory. And here it is, DTRH1. It's already taking measurements. You can see the battery life, and it's got all the information in there. Now I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to go and try and refresh. I might have to shake the meter a little bit to get it to come back. And the next time it pops up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up for the outlet of a dehumidifier, and we'll see if that works. Okay, so here it's popped up again. So now this time, you can see it's the same one. Instead, I'm going to add this to R250987. And then you can see it brings up a thing, and it's saying, hey, are you sure you want to connect these two? And I'm going to say, okay. And now they've all been assigned or claimed. Now, if I go into my inventory, I should see So now it's called R250 987. You can see it has the DryTag RH banner on it. This is our symbol for a non-smart dehumidifier. And again, we have the unit all set. Whoops, apologize for that. The unit all set up and ready to go. Okay, so that is how we would add DryTag RH as either a standalone thermal hygrometer or as a smart dehumidifier. Okay, and adding DryTag, I'm going to show you in a video, and I just want to talk about some of the benefits. So if equipment is turned off or loses power, you can receive notifications with the DryPhone. We have this last known location feature, which I want to show you that. So I'm going to go into a piece of equipment. So I'm just using a dehumidifier, but you could use, DryTag gives you the same information. So it's reading the data from the unit. Okay. Oh, this unit is in range. I need to pick a unit that is not in Bluetooth range. So I'll just pick any unit. This one is not in range. Okay, so you can see that it has this, it knows the last time it connected to an app and it puts it on a map. And if you click on that, it's going to use your default mapping program to locate where that unit last was. Obviously, this one was at my house. Okay, so that's one of the benefits to DryTag, and it does that when the equipment is on or off. It just talks to the app whenever it can, and that's free. I'm going to talk about a different type of equipment tracking. Then we have advanced inventory tracking capabilities, which I'll show you. And like I said, it transmits even when the equipment is off, and it automatically provides it automatically, okay. Okay.
Hopefully you can still hear me. I had some kind of audio problems there. Jenny, maybe you can let me know if you can still hear me.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, all right, I'll continue on. Sorry about that. So it will automatically provide the days of usage and the serial number to the drying report. And you can see I'm showing it. Here's where we put it on the AirMax to make the AirMax BLE. Here's where we suggest you put it on the Guardian R, but you can, and we have a document that tells you where to put it on all the Phoenix equipment, and we give recommendations if you're putting on other types of equipment. Okay, so in this video, what I'm going to show you is my colleague Larry Carlson is installing a DryTag onto a Focus Axial. And you can see, I just want to show how easy it is. There's literally two self-tapping screws. And if you know where to locate it on the unit, it's as easy as screwing in these two screws. Now, if you do put it on a smart or a non-smart piece of equipment, then you have to know how to set it up in the app. And I told you I would show you how to set it up. So you would go into your equipment tab, and you can see we have this plus down here, which is consistent throughout the program when you're adding things. We're going to hit add equipment, and now we're going to set up a non-smart piece of equipment. And to show you that it can go on any brand of equipment, I will call this one the DE Velo 24, and I will go here and mark it as an air mover. It'll be a low profile. We can type in the manufacturer and the model and the serial number. And once we have all this information, we could hit save and add another, but I'm just going to hit save and finish. And then once we have done that, you're going to see that it brings up all the non-smart units, and it says, hey, what do you want to put this on? This DryTag. Oh, right now I'm just showing you what the DE Velo 24 looks like in the app. So here's what it looks like after you've created the non-smart equipment. Now, when you click on DryTag discovered, view units, and if we click on this, and we select, this is the one near us, we select that and we hit add. Now it's going to show us the inventory again. I just previously was just looking at it. We select DE below 24, we select it, we click OK, and now it is married up in the app, and it will always know what serial number it is and report in the hours of usage and all those types of good things. So that's how we add a non-smart piece of equipment. Okay, now we're going to move on to adding and using DrySense. So how do I add DrySense to my inventory? Well, I'm going to have one here, and I'm going to turn it on, and we'll see if we can get this. We'll go to the Equipment tab, New Equipment Discovered. We'll click on it. You can see it says New DrySense Aaron. I will click Add, and now we have that. So now it's in our inventory. So now I want to show you, if I go to a job, so I'm going to pick the one that's at my house, and if I go and act like I'm taking a reading, so I'm going to go to drying data, and I'm going to click on the plus, and I go in here. Now I can automate readings. So here's an unaffected area reading. If I hit collect readings, it's showing me the sensors that I have available, and I could select. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I should have been doing moisture content. So it's a versatile meter. The DrySense can also do temp and RH. So you could put it on for this reading, but what I really want to do is go to the moisture readings up here, and if I go into my chamber, the basement, I'm going to add a moisture point. And now it is going to ask me, hey, here's some sensors you're using today. Here's some other sensors. What do you want to use for this reading? So I'm going to select this one, New DrySense Aaron. I'm going to say it's in the wall, it's wood, and and you can see there's a drying target here drying target of 10. You can make that be whatever you want. I'm just going to hit save and finish. Now, because I don't have it actually in wood, you're going to see that if I take the reading, you're going to see that it looks like it's dry already because I don't have it actually in anything wet. But that's how you assign it to a moisture point. How do you assign the DrySense to a moisture point? Then the next time when you take the next reading, it automatically knows to get the reading from that sensor, and that's what you want. So the DrySense also has, as I mentioned, this attachment. You can see it used here with screws. And then you should do a refresh, or you can do refresh as what I did to take an instant reading, but it will data log every 6 hours. And this is what it looks like in the app. Okay, so now what I want to show you is a video on setting up a job, adding equipment to the job, and taking your first daily reading. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into the job setting, the jobs tab, and I'm going to set up a job for us, and then we'll add all the equipment to it, and then we'll see what it looks like to take your daily readings. So we go into the jobs tab, and we'll click the plus to add a new job. So we'll click on this, and then we'll call this one the Phoenix demo. And then there's a description field, but which you don't have to use, it's optional. And the address, you can see that Google autocomplete helps us do things more quickly. We can add insurance information as we see fit. And as we go down, you can see there's claims number. You can add job contact for the job. You can add job notes. You could just create the job, but we want to go to next and add at least one drying chamber. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll just call this chamber test, and we'll say it's category 2, class 2. We add in our chamber dimensions, and we have length, width, height. And you can see the app is helping us by doing all the math. We can hit apply, and then all we have to do is enter the percentage wet, and it's going to do the calculations on the square footage again for us. So it's nice that it does all the calculating for us. And once we have all this information, we could add a chamber note. We could add more drying chambers if we want, but for our purposes, we're just going to create the job. So that's we'll click on next, And once the job is created, so here it brings you to the job overview screen. The next step would be to add equipment to that job. So we're going to just move over to the next tab. And I'll show you a nice thing about smart equipment. So we're going to hit plus to add equipment. Smart equipment, it just automatically selects it. It knows that it doesn't show you your whole, well, it has your whole inventory, but it selects the things that are around you because it figures you're at the job site. You probably want the things you have with you. So once you select all the equipment you want, you tell it what chamber. You can hit assign to all. I'm going to do that because I only have one drying chamber. And then I'm going to hit finish. And once I hit finish, you're going to see that all this equipment is going to go into this drying chamber. Into this chamber and onto our job. So there it all is. So the next step is I'm going to go over to the drying data tab, and we're actually going to take our first reading. So we have the plus button down here again, and this is how we're going to take our first daily reading. You can see this is older, this video. Now you can go back in time and take readings from smart equipment because it's all the data is on our cloud. It's real data. So if you can't make it to a job site, that's very handy. But for our purposes in this video, we'll just accept the date that it was. You can see we grab the outside conditions automatically. The unaffected, this is where you could use a dry tag RH to automate it. I'm just going to enter it manually, but you could automate that. And then once you have your unaffected reading and you click done, you go to your test chamber, and we're going to collect, there's also a job notes spot here. And I'm going to gather readings. So you can see we got the inlet. At the time, we hadn't had this running very long. It's giving me a grain depression warning, but we had just turned the equipment on. So you have the inlet or the affected area, and you have the outlet of the two dehumidifiers in that chamber, drying chamber. You can see we can add an HVAC reading if we'd like. We can add a chamber note, or we can say that we're done. And then we'll just see here's all of our air readings. Now the next thing would be to do moisture readings. And so again, we have just the one test chamber. We'll go in there and we're going to set up some moisture points. So we'll click into the chamber. You can see there's job notes available again. So, and you have notes available on almost every screen. So we're going to go in here and I'll just add a few. We'll add a few drywall points. You can say the drying target is 12. When you change it, it makes it your default, whatever you changed it to. It just automatically names them wall 1 drywall. I'll hit save and add another, and that's wall 2 drywall. And then we'll add one more into wood, and that will have a different drying target, and we'll hit save and finish. And now we'll have our 3 moisture points set up. Now we can collect the readings. Now this is where you would automate this with DrySense, but when this video was made, we didn't have DrySense yet, so we'll just enter some numbers to give us a reading. You can see that it will give you like a little graph showing you, it just has one reading. It knows it's not at the target, so it just shows you red, and as you progress, it gives you information about how you're progressing. And so once you're done there, you just click done. We can go back and we can see we have our visit is complete. Now we can click in here and look at, this was the graph. Again, I showed you this already, where you can click on any of these different things and select whatever dehumidifier you want. But here's all our readings. These are all our air readings. And if we click over to moisture, here's our moisture readings. So we're done. That was our visit on day 1. And you can see here's all the equipment that we have on the job. And then, of course, the overview screen. So it's really that easy to set up a job, add equipment to the job, and take your first daily readings in DryLINK. And now I want to show you using the drying report. Yes.
A question came in regarding all of that, and it is, will there be any updates that will allow multiple rooms to be added to a chamber rather than a new chamber per room?
Yeah, so there have been requests for that, so that is definitely on our list of items that will be improved in the future. So we're definitely looking into that. Thanks for the question. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the drying report, and here is how you would send records means send the link to the drying report. So can anyone on my team send the link? Yes, the answer to that is yes. Does link update in real time? Yes, it does, near real time. When we were doing this work over here, it would be updating this link over here. You can send a PDF of the drying report if you want to, and we'll take a look at that. So what I'm going to do is go to my phone, and I've already got a link ready to go. So I'm going to go in here. Whoops, that's not the one I want. And I'm going to open this link. So this is what it'll look like. And you can see that I have a drying report. That's going to render, and I can pinch and zoom to get it to fit in my phone. And you can see that we have the entire drying report is on my phone. Now I'm going to show you this report in a web page that'll make it a little easier to see. But you can see that you can do it on your phone, and actually you can zoom in, you can hit full report, and it will actually render a PDF, and you can actually send it right from your phone. So there it is. It's rendered it as a PDF on my phone. But right now what I want to do is go over here and show you. Here is the report in full screen mode, and what it looks like. So you have all of the job information over here. You can even if you have these set up in your app, you can still switch these. I could switch from feet to meters on the fly if I want to. Of course, it'll recalculate everything for you. Again, you can generate PDFs over here, a full report, a job summary. And as you scroll down, you see here's all the information on the different chambers. Here's the this is the summary page, so you'll see that you have all of your chambers, affected areas. You can look at your moisture readings. This is your moisture content. You have your outside and unaffected. And as you scroll down, this is all of the equipment on the job by type and the amount, the quantity used, and the total job days. And you got your job notes on here. Now here's the individual chambers. I'll just go into this 1-bedroom bath. You can see now, you see the affected area reading and the DHU over time. You can see your moisture readings in that specific chamber, and as you scroll down, the individual readings for the atmospheric and moisture. And here's the individual serialized units in that chamber. So that's what the drying report looks like. And then if I go over here just to show you what the PDF looks like, here's, it's pretty much exactly the same, except for we have to shrink down the charts and you can't click on them. But it has all the same information if you go down and look at it. So that's what that looks like. Okay, so now I'll go back here and we will go to the remote monitoring. Let me get my phone over here, back to that. So remote monitoring. So what is a dry phone? Well, we kind of talked about it. It's a smartphone that's been locked down with only the DryLINK app, and its only purpose, it's like a gateway. It just streams, it gathers data by Bluetooth and streams it by cellular or Wi-Fi to the cloud. Can you use your own phone? Yes, you can. However, we just can't support every phone that's made. So if you do run into troubles, I can tell you one thing that's important is you have to figure out how to keep the screen from going dark. If the screen goes dark, you will not receive data if you're using your own phone. So how do you set it up? Well, I showed you all the alerts, but basically when you go to a job, what you can do, if I go here, there's this spot here that says job status alerts. This is where you go into to enable or disable alerts, job status alerts. That's where you go to. It's enabled right now. Okay, and then what alerts are available? I showed that already. What can you do remotely? Okay, so this is pretty cool. You can actually take, if you have your iPhone on site, you can take your daily readings from smart equipment remotely, which is very cool. You can also look at the equipment and see what's currently going on a job site. So that's also very interesting. And we have also Xactimate billing for remote monitoring. It's WTRRM, $55 a day for a gateway, which would be your dry phone, and up to 10 sensors. Okay, and now I want to talk about advanced inventory tracking. So this is really interesting, and I'm going to show you this. We're currently in beta testing, so you can monitor your warehouse your trucks and your job sites, there's no human interaction required. So this has been the downfall of most systems up until now. And then you can receive alerts if job site equipment is left behind. So we can tell you when the truck leaves, what's on that truck, and we can compare it to what was just on that job and tell you specifically what you left behind. We can give you instant inventory audit reports, and there'll be statuses for like on a job, needs cleaning, available, needs service. Now this does have a monthly fee. Now I want to go and show you an actual inventory. So here is what it actually looks like. You can see missing would mean like these haven't been, they've been sitting idle for long enough that we've categorized them as missing. And then these 6 are on a job and these 43 are available. Now they've set up some locations here so we could click on any. This was a January combo class. Here's the 6 units they, well, 9 units that they had on that job, and then I can clear that filter. And then over here you can, you know, search and, you know, click to filter them in any way you want. And then over here, if you go to locations, you'll see that we're just getting this set up, but you can enter fixed locations. So this would be warehouses or storage facilities, and then job locations. This is actual job sites, and then mobile locations. So this would be like your trucks and things like that. And so what happens is if you have a dry phone in all these places, the beacons just, they're battery powered. So they talk to the phones, and because they talk to the phone and we know which phone is which, then we know where that equipment is. So if you have a dry phone labeled warehouse and the equipment is talking to that phone, we know it's at the warehouse. So that's how we're doing this. And that gives you this nice report that you can generate anytime you want in real time. So that's advanced inventory tracking. So I just wanted to show that and where we're at with that. Okay, so now we've come pretty much to the end here. Now I just want to say, you know, this last slide is what now? Well, I just want to point out that we have individual company training available, so we can have a Phoenix representative help you get this integrated into your processes. I also wanted to point out that DrySense is actually launching on February 5th, so that's next Friday. And then there's a DryLINK retail kit that's going to be available for purchase, and we just decided that we needed to show what, you know, make a kit that has everything you need. So if you have no smart equipment, what do I need to do a basic residential job? So you get 16 dry tags, 6 dry tag RHs, and 4 DrySense, and I believe the kit is like $15.99 or something like that. And then I also want to point out that coming up, we're going to have this new IoT and modern water damage restoration course, and that'll be a half-day course. You get CE credits. That's been approved by the ICRC, and some schools hopefully will be teaching that in the near future. Okay, so now I want to turn it over to questions and comments. I want to thank everybody for joining the webinar, and while we're seeing if we have any questions, I'm going to put up my contact information as well as a link that would go to our website for additional information. Also, I want to mention this webinar was recorded and it will be shared with all registrants. Okay, so I'll open it up to anybody who may have any questions. Jenny, hopefully you can help with that.
Yep, we had quite a few questions come in more towards the end with the drawing logs that you went through. But in the more towards the beginning, we had somebody that came in a little bit late, and it was a question about, is everything done through the app, or is there a back office website that they use?
Yeah, so that's a fantastic question and a request that we've had coming to us quite frequently. So currently everything is done through the app, but we have this portal that we've developed for the advanced inventory tracking, and the next add-on to that is going to be for back office folks. We're envisioning that you could set up jobs and do other tasks on that web portal. So great question.
Okay, the next question is, are there any conversations being had with TPAs for this to become an accepted program for drawing logs on insurance projects? Also, are there plans for the smart equipment and probes to be able to send data to MICA?
Yes, okay, also 2 great questions. Question number 1, yes, there are talks underway with multiple TPAs in terms of having this approved for use with their programs. So that is definitely going on. Second question, the sensors talking to Mika. What I can tell you there is that we are in talks basically with every software provider. Some are further along than others. There's going to be an announcement in February for an integration with one of the software vendors, and we are open to integrating with all of them. So the way that would work is you would go to the job site. All you'd have to do is open up DryLINK on your phone. You don't even have to use it. You just open it up. It will collect all the data and send it to our cloud. You would go into whatever program that is integrated with us and use it like normal, and the data would show up. So yes, that is also underway. Great question.
Okay, next. Is there a way to edit data on the web version versus the app? Example, we notice a reading or a chamber name was typed in wrong on the report. It was easier to change on the computer rather than back to the phone and resending the report.
Yep. Another great question. Yeah. So the answer would be, I'd refer to the first question I answered, which is today it's all done in the app, but we do have plans to add to add it to the web portal so you could do what you're talking about. We just don't have it today, but it is on the roadmap for this year.
Okay. Next question. Can you only charge per sensor only if you are doing a remote monitor, or can I place the sensors in the house and not use a dry phone for remote monitoring and still charge them for each sensor?
To my knowledge, there's not a way to charge for sensors unless you're doing remote monitoring. It'd be like when you bring your meter. I mean, you can't charge for your meter today. So to my knowledge, you can only charge for sensors when you're doing remote monitoring.
Okay. And then we have one last question, is how do I get to my dashboard?
My dashboard. I'm not sure if they mean like they mean that when I was showing the maybe they mean when I was showing the advanced inventory tracking, or maybe they were asking about the drying report. I'm not sure, but let me answer it a few different ways. The dashboard that I showed for the advanced inventory tracking has not been released yet. So you can't get to that yet unless you're part of our beta testing. The drying report is a web link that and I'll show you in here, you go to any particular job. I'll go to this one that's my house. And then if I go, oh, this one has been completed. No, where's my, oh, sorry. I go to here to drying data and I hit send records. And this generates a link that I can share by email or text or any way my phone can share. And I just do it that way. So that's how I access the drying report. And then obviously here's the main dashboard of the app. So hopefully one of those three will answer the question.
Yeah, they followed up with just disregard the question.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Any other questions?
I don't see any. If we want to just wait another 30 seconds or so, if anybody would like to ask any more. Oh, we have another one. Can we set this in Google in the future? I had 15. Oh, sorry. People are asking if we can do this webinar in Google and right now.
Google Hangouts or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I guess Teams isn't quite as popular as some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I definitely want to thank everybody. Hopefully, and if you have questions, you have my contact information right there. And don't forget that the Phoenix sales people are available for specific training if you're trying to, make this DryLINK system part of your company's processes. And I really do feel there's so many savings. I mean, this isn't a sales webinar, so I didn't want to get into it all, but there's so many time savings, equipment savings. There's so many benefits. I just believe connected equipment is for sure the future of this industry. Okay,
Oh, we had another question come in. Any time frame on the advanced equipment tracking being released?
Yeah, we're shooting for May of this year, so we're that close.
I think that's it.
All right. Thanks again, everyone. I appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.